I mean, it's a big misdirection, I think. And that's what's never mentioned in these, like, you know, self-improvement videos and the hype videos and things like that. They just say, do this, get a routine. And they're so confident in the way they say it as well. But they don't mention any negatives. And that's always a red flag for me. There's no, like, con or sort of something to weigh against that benefit that you're going to get. But it's interesting. It's just, I think it's a double-edged sword in a way. So yeah, it's just again preference. I think whatever anyone prefers in their life. If they like to be alone, screw it. Do what you want. Improve yourself for yourself, and not other people. But everyone has their reasons. So.
Has there been any sort of advice that you've taken on from self-improvement that you now look back on and think, what the fuck was I thinking?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was proper on that train, you know, the proper, like no-fap.
David Goggins.
Well, no, it was. I wasn't actually on David Goggins. Somehow he's like the main like fitness / motivational speaker, but somehow I've like meandered around him, gone through everyone else, and then come back to this point. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's pretty cool. But he's a bit extreme for me personally. But I get why people obviously like him and things like that. But I have been through it all. I went through a red pill arc.
I'm going to stop you on that point because red pill. I've always heard the phrase red pill, and it's been dashed towards me at a time or another.
Okay.
What actually is red pill?
So my opinion of red pill, I don't know if it's like true on a factual sense, but my opinion of red pill is having sort of I think red pill or the blue pill, both of them are referring to realization on relationships and women, I suppose, and money, and basically the way I would see it is red pill is sort of focusing yourself, getting loads of money, girls don't care about you, it's all about themselves, and they're just looking for better mates and things like this. I mean, you know Andrew Tate. I mean, it's pretty much Andrew Tate is a red pill king god, and then you've got the other side of the fence is blue pill, which is the opposite, where it's like, oh no, I'm sort of in the middle of both, to be honest with you. I think there's...
You microdosed both?
Oh, well, no, I never went full blue pill. I lean towards full red pill, I'll be honest.
Well, where's blue pill then?
I think blue pill is just the other end of the spectrum, where it's sort of get offended by everything. I think it's like the woke side of things. But again, I don't know the actual definition of red pill and blue pill. It's just my perception of them. And then you got black pill, which is I've got no hope. Nothing matters.
Why the fuck are people voicing that?
Well, it's like nihilistic people, you know. But they it's funny. It's funny. I like it comes into that. I think a lot of red pill people are incels and a lot of blue pill. I mean, the definition of incel is obviously involuntarily celibate. Yeah. So I can't imagine a lot of people are voluntarily. I mean, maybe for religious reasons, but I think the word incel has obviously gotten a new definition as over these two red pill blue pill arcs. I've been through all that, and yes, I realised I was a bit of an idiot when I had those opinions. But but it's funny. It's funny when you look back at it.
You can't not go through it though. That's the thing.
No, I suppose I know a couple of my friends that haven't gone through it. But then again, it's like. Sorry, were you saying you have to sort of learn sometimes?
If you're going in that direction, if you're doing the self-improvement thing, you will go through the phase where you're just like, you have no understanding of why you're doing the good things, you're just doing them.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of the information you consume as well. When every day you're consuming the same thing, but just reskinned, you're going to start believing these things because it's the only thing you're watching. And obviously with YouTube algorithms, Instagram at the time, they obviously take what you watch and they throw it back at you in the feed with their algorithms. And so you're just consistently consuming, I suppose I was consistently consuming red pill content and started believing all these things. You know, you had things like, oh, it's so dumb when you look back at it, like Fresh and Fit podcasts popping up on my feed. And I can't believe because they just shower women just for an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I thought that was like smart and big brained, and it's like, yeah, I don't know why I did that, but it's all part of the journey, I suppose.
It is.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, they do make some points, I suppose, but it's just 1 point per 100 horrible ones, if you know what I mean, and the clipped one's always the decent point. Yeah. So yeah, it's that's probably an experience I've had with things where I've just gone back, what an idiot.
Well, you ever tape build? Did you ever go and you tape one?
I actually never did.
No?
I went through a phase where his videos popped up, and I genuinely thought he was a character. That entire time. So I never like fully believed in his push. I still kind of do believe his character, to be honest.
I have to say I agree.
And I, there were just some funny memes. I thought I didn't think it was very. I thought when he said like breathe air, like that was funny. Obviously, if you don't drink sparkling water, you're gay. That's good. Like it's like there's like a test where he says if they say, oh, I don't like bubbles, they're gay or something, which is just so dumb when you think about it.
Sounds like something someone gay would say.
Well, look, I'm not, I promise. Yeah, I actually don't mind sparkling water, for the record.
Well, there you go.
It's confirmed. I'm obviously not gay.
You can sit with Tate.
Yeah, I can.
As I drink my dull water.
Yeah, dull. Yeah, there's a bit of bubbles coming up.
There's no bubbles.
No, it's yeah. I was enjoying his content. We'll put it that way. I wasn't tape build. But, were you?
No, I wasn't. I was very much David Goggins.
Okay. That's a healthier option, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Tate for me, I'm totally on board with the idea of sort of. I found him entertaining. And then occasionally I'd see something. Oh, do you know what, actually, that's pretty good. I like that. But for the most part, I did see him as a caricature. Right. I thought there was an act there. And as I say, I still think that's the case. But mine was Goggins. Goggins was the one for me where it's like, I don't know how I came across him. I have no idea. But at some point, I decided that the best plan of action was the villain arc.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, and when you're on the villain arc, the best man to be by your side is David Goggins.
Okay.
He's the one. I'm going to use this as a bit of a sort of David Goggins riff just for the point.
Sure.
In my recent sort of hippie dad arc empathy mode of being a bit more sort of pulling away from just the gas, just hard work, in my sort of arc of applying a bit more empathy to essentially everything, and not being so just knuckle-headed with things. I've sort of pulled away from the Goggins idea quite a bit because, Goggins is like the quintessential just work. In doing that, I've sort of felt a bit guilty. Okay. Because it's like, David Goggins as an icon, I know he just said not to idolise our icons, but as an icon, I can't say he's not a hero of mine. Okay. As someone to sort of propel you forward towards good things, to me, there's no one better. Okay. To have someone who's like, to put you from a shit place where I was to a good one, that is a very good step to Gogginify yourself, I suppose. And what I think's interesting with self-improvement on this point is I've been thinking quite a lot recently about how I would sort of like run someone through self-improvement from my perspective.
From the start.
Yeah, like knowing what I know, a few years down the line, having gone through quite a few of the arcs, how would I tell someone to start? Because I thought if I was to tell them what I have, the knowledge I have now of sort of, make sure that you keep your priorities straight and don't work too much and don't work yourself too hard. Make sure that you're empathetic with yourself. I don't think that's the advice that I would have needed to hear at the time. Okay. When I was fat and lazy and stupid and ignorant, I don't think the best advice to give me would have been make sure you don't work too much and keep yourself grounded. Yeah. And I don't think it would have worked. No. And it makes me think, just to that end, that it's like, I do think you have to go through stages of being absolutely focused, homed in on a certain way of being, and then looking back and going, what the fuck was I on about there? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does just work differently for people. And for you, that was the case. I think for me as well, I think I went through a similar thing to you. But I imagine a lot of people I think the idea is just figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, but obviously with, you know, in your case, you had help because you had David Goggins. With me, I had every YouTube compilation video of progress. And
was there any guy in particular that stood out?
That's a good question. Probably. I can't remember though. What was I doing? I had, I mean, weirdly, this is a weird one, off topic. Well, it's on topic, but so I went into MMA for a while, especially through uni. I was very into it, and there's this guy called Firas Sahabi.
Did he go on Rogan?
Possibly, yes.
Is he a trainer?
Yes.
He's
a coach, yeah. So he's George St. Pierre's coach.
Yes, yeah.
And the things he was saying about breathing and like the exercise he does and the conditioning he does and things like that, I was like, damn, that sounds good. That sounds fun. Like that sounds like you're not getting too big. You're not getting immobile. You're efficient muscle. You know, things like that. That sort of motivated me to sort of go and do it. And I watched his technique videos, like wrestling videos. I think he's primarily better at wrestling than he is striking, but well, he's better both at me. But he was probably a big. He's not as popular as quite a lot of the others, but he was probably quite a big one for me because I was specifically focused on MMA because I was just so into UFC at the time, and you know I still like it, I still enjoy it. It's not as hardcore on it because I'm not going to compete in it. I don't think, I don't want that brain damage. So
yeah, but I mean, I think that's symbolic, I suppose, of the trade-off that we're talking about here.
Yeah,
it's like the thing itself is good, but if you take it too far, you get brain damage. Yeah, if you want to take it that far and you're willing to pay the price of the brain damage, fine.
To be great or whatever.
But for a lot of people, essentially all of the elements of self-improvement need to be microdosed, I suppose. You know, like applied where necessary, not just... I think self-improvement is almost that ethos of like, if you're a hammer, then you think everything is a nail. You know, and it's not the case. You need to be... Flexibility, I think, is quite a big part of consistency, where it's like, don't be so sort of...
rigid.
You're rigid, exactly, rigid, to the point where you cannot do anything but what you said you'd do. Find a way to work around it. Do something else. If you can't, you know, if for whatever reason your exercise is not in a position where that's possible, if you're injured and you can't do that, then do something else. Find something else to do. And I think it's hard for people to sort of understand that, particularly at the start of self-improvement, because you don't have experience. And I think with that absence of experience, you think that, you know, I'm going to bring it back actually because I think it's the best example. NoFap is like the best example of this for me. You think that any deviation from that is a failure, categorically, and that's
relapse and then.
But there's so many nuances there.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not that simple, and I think that's the thing that people lose at the start. And I mean, I'm 3 years down the line, and it's still maybe even 4 years down the line, and it's something that's eluding me. You don't understand the nuance. Right. You just think that's what I need to do. If I don't do it, I failed. Yeah. That's it, and that's quite a pernicious cycle to be in, because I think it almost goes against what it is that self-improvement intends to do, and that's to make you happy. Yeah, true. You know, because you don't feel happy. No. You feel uncomfortable. You're like, you know, you're constantly battling the demons and fighting them off from the door, and it's like, there's a place for that, of course. That's where growth is found. Yeah. But it requires temperance.
I think when it comes to relapsing, alcoholism or whatever, I mean, I can't speak from an alcoholism point of view, but I think the main thing people have to think, and I could be wrong, is just it's not the end of the world. Just go again if that's the problem. Don't let it ruin your day, don't let it ruin your week, because that's what it does. Especially when I relapse on NoFap. I mean, it's a bit of a weird subject to speak about, but
it's no
big
judgment here. We all understand it.
It's a big No, it's a big thing on the internet, isn't it? Where you have to, I don't know. It's. I remember watching a benefits video. This is another thing I kind of feel stupid on NoFap as well, especially. And it was just saying you got these fucking wild benefits, and it's just like that. It's just not true. But at the time, you're like, shit, does this actually happen? Oh my god.
Yeah, because you don't know otherwise. Like, you haven't done it,
no,
so
no.